Xenos here. I've been doing it for a while. Uh, so I'm on the scene right now. It's a bit of a mess over here. In the process of cleaning again, but I got lazy, so I just did. Well, I did clean, but it wasn't like I was doing a deep clean. You know how spring clean is and all that. So deep clean in self, as well as getting serious. Getting serious. I promise. It's always serious. It's just not very, just not the serious that I guess that people outside of us might think. But it's a start. Start is better than not going anywhere. You know, that's how I think of it. Um, and the funny thing is though, um, I said this to my friend. Don't swallow that. Uh, thought he swallowed his shit. You chew on something else. But yeah, okay. I guess the thing I'm thinking of is in terms of being serious, it's not really what other people would expect. Or I guess my own expectations with it. But anyway, caution in the waters. A lady came up to me at work and asked me what was my name. She asked me how to say my name because it's shortened. And I told her what my name was, but for some reason, and it's probably because we were hyped up on energy drink, to be honest. Um, but I told her what it was short for, and for the life of me, couldn't remember a fucking thing about my name. For the life of me, or the name that you know, you know that I present myself with, and I think it's a funny thing how names are. You can have multiple names from different people and still feel like a name isn't fitting. Prince, and Knight wants to play, getting rowdy. He's always a rowdy boy. But with that being said, using the Last Unicorn Tarot, the Horror Tarot, and Divine. So what are these caution waters that we're stepping in? We're cautious waters that we're stepping in that we need to be cautious of. And the funny thing is, like, thinking about a lot of what has led, think about a lot of what has led you up to the point of where you're at now. Whether it's like friends, family, your own inner inhibitions, yourself in the sense of who you were in the past, and how much you have brought yourself up here. You've been a little in the motions and disregarding those past versions of yourself, as well as the ones that have yet to come. So now in the present, wavering between different planes of existence. I want to reiterate on many of the lives I have done. The knowledge I have, it's from people I've been around, stuff I've absorbed, and also my own thought process of where I've come to. You know? And I'm not saying that anybody's thought process is better than anyone else's. I feel like each one can coexist for the better or for the worse. I feel like mine has definitely been a little misplaced. All because I know that, I have many varying opinions here. Blank card. So starting over. Again, and again. Unscathed clarity. Libra balance. Misadventure soiled. And this was in reverse. Ooh. But why did... Okay. Learn numbers. Ooh. What you got in your mouth? Spit it out. Yeah. Money, debt. Racist climate. In reverse. Along with the misadventure. Ah, fuck. Okay. Fruit tethered. Ophelia Hamlet with distrust, password, and faith. So we also have look within, Aries, and denial, grief, with brain, tough love. Jesus, why is it always the fucking 5 stages of grief here? I think that's what it is when starting off with this blank slate. Because I feel like if you're going to start over with something, you have to grieve what was before it. I think that's just the rite of passage here. And maybe not many people will what Kendrick Lamar says, we grieve different. So, I, within myself, I have different waves of grief. And it comes, get that out of your mouth. leave it. Thank you. Anyway, two. Let's see. Anyway, here. So, we grieve different. All of us grieve different. I'm no different from anybody else that grieves. Even when it comes to systems, everybody in the system grieves different. Um, and that part is confusing me. Guess we'll put cards for that. But anyway, learn. When you're looking within yourself, you're and starting over. You're learning. You're learning about different parts. And this is I don't know who it was. Trust and believe. I never know who people are that I watch more than half of the time because it's always on those YouTube shorts and but it was someone. There's no recollection. But anyway, when you're starting over and learning, I feel like with myself specifically, I've always wanted to cook better and do all of this and that. Where I make beats and you know do everything that I've seen myself doing, but getting to that process, I've had to deal with certain grief about people, places, and things, past experiences. I've had to deal with the grief that comes with them. And some of the grief I've dealt with, but not a lot of it has been equally distributed in a sense. So it's actually funny because a thought came in my head earlier talking to a friend about I've always had my disposition on having kids. I don't like kids. I don't plan on having any. And that's been my core position with the idea of a family unit and whatnot. But I told my friend, like, I was like, I think kids are awesome. Like, they have all of these different ideas. They have different ways of thinking than how adults are, or people who've grown up and who haven't had their childhood taken from them. Now, the thing with me, um, I've had this thought that, uh, well, I said it, but still a thought if you say it. But the thing is, yes, hurt people, but when you think about who those people are, you get a sense of why somebody is the way they are. My whole position with kids of not liking them came from the hurt people. I was a kid hurt by other kids, and that in itself, in those traumatic ways that I've yet to really understand that, you know, in those ways I've never really understood the process of having them and stuff like that. Like, I know how they're made. I've known that for since I was really young, actually, but you know, the thought of having a kid and seeing them become a person that hurt me or was like that with me is something that would bring me absolute grief, especially when I've seen how myself was when I was growing, and I've became people that hurt me. I have no shame in saying that, there's no shame in saying that you used to be someone who was um, not a good person, and I do have shame in what I've done, but there's no shame in knowing why I was turning out that way, if that makes sense, you know. And same with like Ophelia with Hamlet. She um, was driven to death by her father and her brother. And I've had many moments where I felt so alone, where I just couldn't get rid of those thoughts, of the ideation. But, uh, even then, I've managed to bounce myself back. And it takes a person with a strong mind and a strong will to actually pull themselves from those depths of their minds. Um, because I know that a lot of people, sometimes it can be too much. But at the end of the day, they are still thoughts. And the only person who has control over your mind is you. Or, in a sense of, well, I won't say, everybody has that, but, you as in being flesh and blood, a being, you have that control. Your mind is still a tool that has yet to be tapped into, which is why you have to have a hunger for learning new habits and unlearning. Those are things that you grow into. Fruit. It's funny how that is. Fruit. Fruit. The fruit of your labor. Because I realize, when you are looking within yourself and seeing these different parts of you, if you're allowing yourself to look at that without having this overwhelming sense of judgment or criticizing, shame, if you stop yourself from having this need to be angry, you can see that you are still just a person who has had many um, unfortunate incidents as another. Maybe they weren't to the same degree, but they were still unfortunate incidents that made you into the person you are today. Those are courses in your life. Those are timelines that you have been going through. A timeline, per se. But in the future, it's yet to be written, which is also why I feel like this card is here. It's blank on both sides, It's literally nothing. You haven't even drawn it. You haven't even visualized it. You haven't even done anything with it. So instead of feeling this overwhelming sense of shame and guilt for who you once were, you have time to make who you want to be, who you need to be, not only for you, but for other people around you. You know? And the key to it, the password, the key is to have faith in you. I know I've said this before about, the whole God thing. If you can't have uh, faith in yourself, just know that the universe has faith in you, or God has faith in you. You know, however you want to look at it. And I have always had this thing of where it's always hard to tune out everything, but in tuning out everything and looking within you, you have to have that sensibility to you have to have that sensibility to be still, to actually be still and not have anything just distracting you from the presence that you are at. So, what I'm doing is I'm going to do her last. It's just a feeling I have. I'm gonna do her last. But now I got these cards. And I know, that also brings forward why I have such an issue with kids. Because even as a kid myself, I'm not gonna say I was the best kid. I was a fucking asshole. But what kid is not? Well, most kids. But in terms of that, it was because of those unfortunate incidents that I became. But in that same token, I wouldn't want to have that always have this innate fear that something could happen, and I'm not there to prevent it, which is like, okay, you know it is what it is, because yeah, it is what it is, because you can't stop life from happening. It's gonna happen regardless, but the feelings that come with life are not going to be just push it aside. You can deal with it later, because it'll come back eventually. So what you have is the Knight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Cups upright. Then you have the World. Then you have the Four of Cups. Four of Swords. Oh shit. Okay, I was not trying to do all that. But okay. We'll do these after. But right now we have the Knight of Swords, Knight of Cups, the World, Four of Cups, and Four of Swords. Having that bondage, being tied down and being stuck in that despair. Also with the Ten of Wands, that's a very dead giveaway. But just know that feeling will fade. right now you are slowing down, or life has really slowed for you. You've had setbacks. Ah, you've had setbacks. So now it's funny because it's like the water is rushing, the wind is rushing, everything feels like it's rushing around you, but it's like you stop and you're like in a standstill. You're like, I'm not finna run against the current. And well, you're not running, but you're definitely walking, but it's not gonna be against the current in the world. The world, oh shit. Chariot. I told you, you're walking, but you ain't running. You're like, I'm gonna take my time in this, and I'm gonna make sure that it gets crafted how I want it to be crafted. I'm not gonna force myself to be in this position where I'm um, feeling down on my luck, and I'm not gonna force myself to do things I don't want to do. I'm allowed to make that choice within myself to be the person and be the person I want and do what I want. And with death, and this song that I keep on hearing by Poppy, it's I'm not afraid of bleeding, but I am afraid. I love you, yes I do, and I hope that you do too. No. And the 2 of coins. So a balancing act, for sure. This boy crying. Yo whines like a little baby. Yo whiny baby. Yo whiny baby. Because he wants attention. He wants to play. But yeah. 2 of coins. Excuse you, Papa. But having that taking steps forward through the sun and the Queen of Wands. So heading out of the storms, even when it feels like it's catching up, you're still making your way out. You have the High Priestess in reverse. Here in out of sight, out of mind. So maybe it's like out of sight, out of mind. If I don't think about it, it's not there. Not really. It's still going to be there even if you don't see it. Your memories are still there even if you don't see it. Who you are or who you were was still there even if you don't know it. So it's not really out of sight, out of mind, is it? Especially when it comes to, you know, The Body Keeps Score, that book about your body. You may not know about everything that happened, but you do know, hey, you do know what has happened. You don't want it to happen again. And that's why you're keeping a safe distance. And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we just transitioned time because it started out being sunny. Hey, leave it. But I feel like transition from day to night, like a cycle. Do you feel like you're repeating something? And with justice in reverse, we go back to the morning. And even with the Queen of Swords, we go back to the morning. Sun, rising, and morning. And they're all in reverse. I'm hearing that song. Cut the, cut the, cut down. No, 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 cause I don't give a fuck, fuck. I don't know what that song is about, honestly, but, you know, I hear it. I definitely feel like, I'm also hearing that song, coming out of my cage, and I'm doing just fine. Gotta be brave now. It started with the kiss. I didn't like this. That corny. I haven't heard this song in a long ass time, but I'm hearing that song, and you know, that right there is part of you're getting out of this repeating cycle. I feel with justice here and the Queen of Swords, I feel like it's turning up. It's just, you know, you have to turn it up a notch. You're a little low right now, but just turn it up a little bit, like an antenna, you know. It's just like that. But you have the Three of Cups with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse and the Five of Cups in reverse. Ooh, already finances dipping with the Chariot again. Okay, let me get one more. The Moon. It's funny that's a werewolf. But I feel like you come out at night more than you do at the morning. With the Four of Swords. Riding the wave. Riding the wave. Riding the wave. It's funny how the Ten of Pentacles is here in reverse with money and debt. Excuse me. Finding your way outside of this temporary case is easy. You just have to be willing to cut low on what expenses you know that you don't need. I know nobody likes, you know, budgeting, but it's nothing wrong with budgeting or being frugal. Honestly, I promise you it's not. You just have to be willing to not accept not setting up for the best for you in the future, because where you're at right now, you're not really setting the best. The Knight of Swords up right here. That's funny. On the lookout. With the Six of Pentacles. So using a half and saving the other half. It's an easy fix. You can do it. Believe in yourself. Believe. And we have the King of Swords with the Devil and the Two of Swords. And I know y'all not being willfully blind. Because that's what it seems like right here. That's a dragon. Dang. I don't remember no dragon being in the show. Maybe it's just me, or maybe it was he could have did like a spell. You have the High Priestess in reverse. So Alice through the Looking Glass. Like I said, you seeing the future, you're seeing the freedom. Like, if you look at this card, sorry, but you see she's looking at the other unicorns. But right here, with the Devil, she's small. And the Red Bull is literally covering everywhere, everything. It's taller than the fucking castle, the hills, everything. But you have to be bigger than what you're afraid of. And I don't even think that, because there's also a thought I had, it's not just being bigger than it, it's about, or making it smaller, it's about conquering it in a sense of, I'm not allowing you to take hold of me. That's how you become greater than what you fear. You don't settle in these judgment. Judgment. And you know how the magician had changed her into a human? Think of it like this. Being characterized as something that you're not. You know who you are, right? So, and it's funny because this song, 444, I forgot who it's by, but it goes something like this. 444. This part right here is the one that I was like, I'm referring to. I know myself, no reason why I shouldn't trust myself. Intuition, that's what it's called. 444, my hands got me. I know myself, no reason why I shouldn't trust myself. Intuition. And you know you. So why would you be scared of what other people make you out to be? And this is also something that I've started to notice with myself. The way that I look at other people, whether it's like I'm having some sort of judgment for them, of them, or seeing that they're doing well, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could do that. I can. What's stopping me is the idea of conquering, of actually reaching for it. That's what's stopping me. That judgment of being like, oh, but if I do this, then what about X, Y, and Z? I'm not forgetting about X, Y, and Z. I'm just choosing to focus on something else for the time being. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to realize that what you see in other people is directly a reflection within yourself. And I can't knock it, you know? I can feel some type of way about somebody else and look at myself and be like, oh, but what about X, Y, and Z? I've done that before. You know, having thoughts, having words, transactions, all that shit. Those are inherently parts of myself. And we have the world in reverse. So it's not walking in fear. And look, you have the sun, like... Sorry. Hold on, let me show you. You have the world, 4 of Wands. Alright. You also have the 7 of Cups and the Sun. Now the Sun, all of them come out. All your inhibitions, inhibitions, your fears, your goals, your worries, what you don't want to look at, it's coming out to the forefront. And you're allowed to have those things. You're allowed to feel all of them simultaneously, one at a time, however you want to feel it. You're allowed to have feelings. You're allowed to have those parts of yourself. And there's no reason why you should fear them, because that's what makes you the person you are. And I promise you, feeling is better than feeling nothing. Nobody wants to be numb. And that's coming from my own personal experience. You have 1, not a dragon, purity. And you see they're watching the butterfly. Not a seahorse, perspective. And on the back, not a wave, intensity. I actually love that. And those aren't even birds, they're the paper birds. What a seahorse. Angels guided me with love and light. Perspectives are a tricky thing. It really is. Which is why it takes... You have to understand your own perspective, as well as other people's perspectives, because your perspective is not going to fully align with somebody else's. Your understanding is not going to align with someone else's. It's about that communication. Letting yourself be honest with what you want, what you need, your motives. You can't be honest with yourself. How are you going to be honest with other people? And relook what you think about what is pure and what is not. Because I swear, black and white thinking, your commitment is being tested. First quarter, moon. You gotta be committed to you. Committed to yourself before you're committing to somebody else. If you don't have that sort of commitment, then how are you going to show that commitment to somebody else? Hold your vision, fixed moon. And the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. And the moon literally just went to damn near full moon. You are good enough. Full moon in... I kid you not. I can't make this shit up, bruh. Full moon. Full moon in Virgo. You are good enough. And on the front is prosperity lies ahead. New moon in Taurus. Cannot make this shit up, bro. I promise you, I'm not making shit up. Like, believe in the impossible blue moon. You have the ability to do what you need, then get yourself on track. You're just playing coy. Don't be shy about it. Show some more. Don't be shy, show some more. Put some more. Come on, put some more. Don't be shy, put some more. Yeah. I said, just be serious. There's no seriousness here. Don't be serious. You play by your own rules. If you want to be serious, do you. But, don't expect everybody else to do that. So we have 13, challenge, standing up for your rights. Standing up for you. What did I say about the Red Bull? There's also that green dragon and the King of Swords. Like, I don't, you're able to fight that motherfucker. you're able to be that bigger version of yourself that you see in other people. 12, the self, gathering your power. I told you. It's about allowing yourself to have that room for growth. If you can let other people grow, why, or if you see other people growing, why can't you yourself grow too? Why are you so afraid to grow and change and evolve? What it said, don't let your power, you warm the fire, don't burn yourself with it. You know, you warm it, don't burn it. Don't burn yourself with it. You know what I mean? And you have legacy, persistence. Your legacy, which is actually something that I've heard someone else say on uh, Instagram. But she was like, your legacy is you, it's not your kids. And it's also bringing me to this song. It was from Hamilton. History has its eyes on you. And, you know, that in itself of somebody literally being seen is fucking terrifying. And I don't know why it is, but being seen is terrifying. And you know how the eyes are the window to the soul, right? Being seen is just, for some reason, it just feels terrifying. And it's not even being seen for who I am, it's just being acknowledged in a sense of not having to over explain everything. And it's like, oh, I know, I understand. And then you don't have to say anything else. Like, what? Oh. Paradise, effervescent joy and happiness. You have the 9 of hearts, rose quartz, love, trust, emotional healing, ace of diamonds, and it all reds. And then you have amethyst, peace, intuition, and spirituality. What's crazy is she's not even covering her food. It's the dog's food. I don't understand cats. Then you have Ruby, wealth, wisdom, success, and love, king of diamonds. Carnelian, creativity, confidence, passion, and the 4 of cloves. With 10 of diamonds, courage, vitality, and energizing bloodstone. And on the back, you have pyrite, wealth, success, and protection. It's a mix of colors, but they relatively are close enough to where it's like a spectrum. It's all the it's not the warm colors. It's cool. It is warm, but it's a mix of the warm and cool. So that's the duality within yourself. And you have to be able to honor that duality within you. The cold seasons and the warm seasons, you know. You have to honor that part of yourself. Honor every part of yourself. Even when you're depressed, even when you're mad, you have to honor it. Because that means that you are saying something within you. It's something within you that needs attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. And instead of being outwardly, instead of facing it outwards, you can always face it in. There is no shame. That is not food, Charlie. Oh, she's going on there. Never mind. Do you go? Anyway, and that being said, also want to take some time out because I know I haven't been the best at talking or giving my own insight. simply because I feel like I am not the best at expressing, and there's nothing wrong with how I express things. It's just not in the way that um, I think it's not in the ways that I think other people are really used to. I have a lot of words that get jumbled up. It's like with me when I explain, I'm like reading from a fucking script in my head, and the script always has changes to it. So it's like trying to still find the right words to say, but not exactly having the right understanding of what to say, I guess. Call it a thought process or whatever the fuck. But with that being said, there is still this ongoing struggle around the world, and the phone I use. It's literally an iPhone. I use Cobalt in it to literally do the things it do. And honestly, all the shit we have in the United States, none of that would have been possible if it weren't for everybody else that's around the world giving to here. And what I mean by that is literally the United States wouldn't even be a fucking place if enslaved African people weren't brought over here. If it wasn't for um, the invasions of colonization and all of that, literally none of this, everything that we have would not exist. And I'm not saying that it's a good thing that that stuff happened. It's not. It's really sad because a lot of people have lost who they were, their generations, their voices of ancestors. They've been lost in terms of physical representation. And people have had to go behind their own selves to actually figure out where they came from and who they are, who they've truly been attached to. And that's bringing that up. It's like people are pitting Jewish people, Arabic, Israeli, Palestinian. They're pitting them against each other. And I don't see how other people would be okay with having their entire identity being, or having somebody else's entire identity being erased, and that same thing happening to their own people. I don't understand. That's something that I've never understood. And I'm not gonna say I was the greatest person when it came to race. I've always had my own issues because of how I was raised, and there was always this victimhood that came with. Um, it was always this victimhood that came with being black, as well as this lack of understanding that came with how we are supposed to navigate the world as black people. And it never stuck with me. I don't know what it is. It just never stuck with me. And as I navigate myself through this world, I'm always going to be seen as a black person, or specifically a black woman, because of how feminine I present myself, or um, if I dress in a masculine way, people will assume that I'm a guy, which by all means you're correct, but but if I don't like actively set myself in a specific manner or state, I always feel like I have to play out the role that I present myself as, which honestly, if you think about it, it's fucking stupid that we don't have these conversations of understanding when it comes to race and gender and sexuality, and they all intersect with one another. They really do. Because if you look within communities of communities, there are many people hate um, who hate people within their own community that might be the same race, but if they're any little bit of type of off, it's like, you're not one of us. You're something else. You're an alien. You're foreign. It's literally what Xenos means. It's foreign. You're different. And that sense of alienation from many people around the world, and not having that sense of community, not having that ability to speak up for yourself because it's being stripped away from you, that in itself is something that I don't understand how people could not see from that side. They're pitting people into being like, oh, I stand with Israeli, I stand with Palestinian, but you're not looking and seeing that if you see your government harassing other people, children, women, men, just people who are defenseless, they don't have any guns, they don't have anything, and you're just stripping their entire being away from them, how can you not side with those people? It's like the Red Bull. You're afraid. You're afraid of them outweighing you. But in reality is, if you realize how history has been, every person that has rose up against something that was bigger than them, they've always found some way to outdo it. And all that is in this current predicament where we're at right now, you have a phone, you have a voice, you have the ability to speak about it, to talk about it with people that surround you. You have that ability to communicate. You have that ability to share other people's stories. Even if you don't know how to get into it, there's many different sources that you can find. But then again, not everybody has a stable internet system, which understandably so. But you can't really take what we have for granted, because everything that is in the U.S. has been from people who are working hard to provide for billions of people, as well as people who are being forced into labor. And I don't understand how anybody is lacking, and nobody's, I won't say nobody's, but most people are refusing to say anything about it, or they just want to keep silent because they're still profiting from it. It never makes sense to me. It'll never make sense. In that same token, we're going to, oh, what's that? Passion. Well, I was just going to pull out an Egyptian card, Egyptian god card, just so I can be like, okay, well, I'm not being ordinary. I was just going to pull it out and be like, okay, well, these are the goddesses or goddesses, in this sense of, or that will be a focus in life for us. I suggest looking into the best that and more. But anyway, that's what I'm gonna do anyway. Give yourself homework to do. Study up. Look at stuff. Read. But honestly though, seriously, focus in. forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. It's been a full reading. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Again, this has been Xenos. Uh, keep it juicy and a koozie. Peace the fuck out.